I know it's going to say Friday, but it's Saturday.
It's Friday night. That means it's time for the Don Tony Show.
You've waited all week, and now it's finally here. Get Don Tony's perspective on current affairs in the world of pro wrestling and beyond.
And now, your host, the man, the legend, Don Tony.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Saturday night. I know the intro still says Friday. I haven't contacted my video guy to make the changes yet. I figured let's do this for a week or 2, 3 weeks. Let's see how the 8 o'clock time slot works. I think Saturday will stick. A little bit earlier. Puffy, yeah, I'm going to talk about that in a second. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. I think it'll stick. You know, we're starting a couple of hours early. I slept really good yesterday, even though I had a little bit of a guilty conscience about something. And you know me, for 20 years plus, you know, whenever I tell you something, I always feel like I have to prove it to you. And sure enough, you know, every time I possibly can, I always do. But, you know, first off, before I go any further, I want to thank each and every one of you out there for your kind, beautiful words about Daffney. Whether you posted it publicly, sent me some really powerful DMs, emails. Boy, it's not just, you know, how beautiful she was inside the ring, outside the ring, but, you know, something that I think people truly overlook. And we ended up dedicating the whole episode to it. And as Puffy89 said, AEW, not one mention. Now, look, I think AEW, wasn't it pre-taped? I mean, I know they could have posted a graphic or something like that. WWE, no mention. I know that was live. You know, something that I've been talking about for a while, and I'm not going to make it my mission. You know, it's not my place to do it, but I will always keep it aware. For 20 years, I professed my appreciation, my friendship that I had with Daffney. Not as close as a lot of others out there in wrestling, and it would be totally disrespectful if I start naming names, but close enough that, you know, during some dark times over 20 years, you know, we confided in each other. And I'll tell you one thing, you know, somebody had sent me an email saying, like, why would she confide in you? You know, you would think some of the letters that I showed and everything would give you a little insight. I'm not going to make it more personal, but the thing is that, you know, sometimes you want perspective from someone that maybe isn't extremely, extremely close like family to you, that you want a different perspective. You know, for the most part, you know, other than a brief stint doing indie stuff and working behind the scenes for a couple of wrestling companies, I'm pretty much an outsider. But I'll tell you this much. And if you think that I'm lying, you could go see for yourself. You know, weird thing happened Thursday during the show. Actually, Wednesday during the show, excuse me. Weird thing happened. You know, right before we went live at 10 o'clock, that's when the Instagram live video was going down. And at that time, we had no idea. And believe me, I'm not trying to say this to be cold, but I'm not spending more than 5 minutes on this right now. 10 at the most, because we have a lot of things to get into. We got AEW predictions, some beautiful news about Don West. Beautiful news. Beautiful. Wait for it. Cancer is in remission. I can't wait. I have to say it now. Don West's cancer is in remission. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's hope it stays in remission. His cancer is brutal. I don't know if any of you out there ever experienced, you know, anyone personal, friends, family that, you know, had that similar cancer in the brain. That is rough. And as of right now, Don West's cancer is in remission. So believe me, even if you were never a fan of Don West, and believe me, for a long time, I didn't like that guy. From the shop at home, Barry Bonds, everyone, Barry Bonds. Mark McGuire, rookie cards. But man, I started getting a liking to this guy, and I'm so happy to hear that today. Anyway, you know, Wednesday night when we were doing this at 10:49 p.m., we did not know what the status was with Daffney. We did not know what was going to happen. I did not watch that video. I can't watch the video. But, you know, look, I didn't think anything of it, but it's starting to get creepier and creepier as the days go by. This was 10:49 p.m. on Wednesday. For no reason whatsoever, a ceiling tile that is spray glued to my ceiling comes tumbling down. And, you know, I didn't think anything of it, but you would be shocked to how many emails and DMs I got from people calling it spirit synchronicity or something like that, or a sign. Well, going through all my emails, DMs, and comments, trying to catch up over the last week, I see a little note from Joseph Nanariello on my Facebook a week ago. Hey, DT, Daffney says hello. Go ahead and look. It's there. It's not edited. There's no way anybody could backdate it. So now I'm like, oh, fuck. I go check my emails because I have several emails over the years. Believe it or not, they're all still good, but I don't frequent them anymore. WrestleCast at AOL, I still got. Blackhearts NY at AOL, I still got. My personal email, dontony@dontony.com, which is fairly new. And I'm like, oh, God, please, please. Last week, Daffney sent me an email. 2-3 sentences. Yo, my favorite New Yorker. What's going on? Long time no speak. Reach out. My old Blackheart's email address. I haven't looked at that email about a year and a half. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to only say this once tonight. Anybody that is going to think they're going to troll the chat, I promise you, you will not be acknowledged, and you'll just be shadow banned. And all you do is you bring this family closer together. So I'm just going to just say that once. So anyway, I got an email about a week ago. I'm really tempted to screenshot it and post it, but I don't feel like I need to prove myself. But man, that really hit me. Look, I wasn't close with her the last couple of years, but now you're starting to hear from people, you know, her DMing this person, texting this person, emailing this person. And the one common denominator is that nobody in their right mind had any idea that she was going through this. And it's rough. It's rough. You know, do I feel guilty? Absolutely not. And no, do I think if I would have emailed her back a week ago, if I knew she sent it, you know, would have it changed anything? Probably not. But man, that's just rough. You know, Bison Smith, God rest his soul. I know a lot of you remember his name. We exchanged emails about 3 hours before he passed away. Georgie Ann Macropolis dropped me an email the morning that she passed away. No, I am not bad luck, but I still keep them just as a reminder of people that I cared about over the years. So, you know, I want to just a couple of quick things. And yes, Puffy, it is a shame. And what I was getting to earlier when I said that, you know, it's not for me to be on a mission, but all of you out there need to be aware of this. You cannot put a beautiful bow bright red or black lipstick, makeup, a nice suit, cover up, grease the hair back, make it nice and stylish. Depression comes in all shapes and sizes. You don't have to be a certain color, a certain age, a certain gender. Depression. Mental health is the term that everybody loves to use. And mental health, a lot of people always associate it with bullying. I will never say stop saying that. Understand something. And this is probably the most powerful response that I got from some people who went through this. There are no text messages. There are no emails. There are no Zoom chats. There are no Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, YouTube Live, Twitter Live, whatever. Nothing replaces this. Nothing replaces the physical presence of a person. That girl was alone. And I understand everybody and their mother writing 1,000 times. I will not watch the Instagram video, but I have heard what went down. You could type 1 trillion times. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. Depression makes you feel alone. You are not alone. When you're going through post-concussion syndrome and the ears are ringing like there's an alarm clock going off in your head, and there's not someone there to just give you a hug, take you to the doctor in person, force you out of your ass to get off your ass, nothing online replaces that. That's something everybody needs to remember. It's very easy to write, oh, mental health, bullying, you're not alone, you're really not alone. Physical is the most important aspect of not feeling alone. That girl, you could have tattooed it to her head. She was completely alone. And rest in peace. Rest in peace. I want to thank the podcasters who passed along my show to a lot of people because we had some very serious, raw discussion about depression. Depression is not just Twitter bullying. It's age. Somebody gets old. They can't do what they love to do their whole life. That could kill you. Illness. Being without a relationship, the loss of a pet, the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, being cooped up with COVID, food addiction. Food does not curse you out. Food does not tweet bad about you. Food is always there for you. You send an email and you get no response. Well, guess what? You call on food, it's right there for you. Then you look in the mirror and you're 100 pounds heavier. I can't even go out. I can't even go here. I look like an embarrassment. I feel like an embarrassment. Nobody cares about me. That's why I'm lone. Everybody's nice online and everybody is trying to make me feel like I'm special and worthy, but not special enough to come give me a hug. It's nobody's fault. Everybody has their lives, their families, their careers. So you can't blame it on anyone else. But stop with this 160, 320 character, tweet and post a screenshot with suicide lines once and twice, and then you move on to the next topic. That doesn't cut it. Anyway, I tell it like it is here. And a lot of other people won't. A lot of podcasters read a couple of sentences from a wiki, move on. Some shows out there, considering what I do, competition, won't even mention it. As serious as discussion was Thursday, won't even mention it to others. Even if they don't want to touch the topic, hey man, you want to hear beautiful tribute or just a raw discussion about depression. I use the word depression. I don't use the word mental health because mental health, too many people associated with bullying, just bullying, depression, could have nothing to do with social media. Shout out to A from Anaheim. Welcome to the family, my friend. So I will keep her memory alive. And I will always be there for all of you out there. And I'm telling you right now, I am checking my old email addresses every couple of days, not every couple of years. But, you know, I think in 2021, though, on the website, on YouTube, on Twitter, on everywhere, it's got DonTony@DonTony.com. So you should be able to find me at my current email. But, man, when I just saw those 2-3 sentences, oh, Brian M., much love, my friend. And, you know, oh, my God. Oh, A from Anaheim is an elite member of the family. He didn't just subscribe. Welcome to the family, my friend. Take part in the All Out predictions contest that's up there while you're there. You'll see it. Brian M., thank you very much, my friend. Everyone, Thursday we raised a lot of money. You know, YouTube takes like, what, a third of it, but I'm not deducting YouTube stuff. We raised about $1,000. And I still have not heard back from the family if they need assistance with a funeral. Right now, her brain is being sent to the medical center, the Concussion Institute. She wanted her brain examined for science. So if you think you're going to see a funeral 2-3 days later, it's probably not the case because of that circumstance. I'm not going to get into the details as far as, you know, what happened that night. There's a couple of non-wrestling websites that touch on it in a little more detail. It ends up that the address with the zip code that I had put online, that was her correct address. And, you know, there was a little bit of controversy early on that there was like, because of the board or the police, they couldn't get into the house and this and that. No, the fact is, and look, everybody that said it that night, they had every reason to say that. She had a deadbolt and they could not get in the house. They had to have the fire department pretty much break the door down, and they found her. So, you know, rest in peace. And some of you who contributed, in fact, you know what? I mean, some of you, any of you out there that contributed on Thursday, if you want one of these dozens and dozens of autographed Daffney photos that I still have, I'll send you one. Just email me your shipping address. I'll get you one out. Daniel-san, what's up, my brother? Welcome back to the family. And Brian, thank you again. So, all right. Let's talk about other things. Yesterday, AEW Rampage. We're just randomly going to talk about things. And I will do predictions in a couple of moments. We're going to do this a little bit. Oh, and I got a CM Punk audio clip that I got permission from the show that I could share it. It's interesting. It's a little interesting, and nobody's talking about it. It has to do with AJ Lee. It's not the New York Post interview that everybody's cutting and pasting, by the way. Eddie Kingston had a little back and forth with Miro yesterday. So in it, you know, basically, Miro is the Redeemer. I don't know, every time I hear Redeemer, I think of that Kit Boga, the one who confronts the scammers from India. Why are you redeeming? No, don't redeem. When he redeems the Apple Google Play cards, every time I hear redeem, why are you redeeming? So anyway, Miro is the Redeemer. And basically Eddie Kingston, in the only New York way he can, without the hand gestures, redeem these nuts. Redeem these nuts. Well, lo and behold, everyone, there's already a t-shirt on sale. Now look, when you have Pro Wrestling Tees involved with AEW Somebody stays up until 2 o'clock in the morning on a Friday night and comes up with the right font to redeem these nuts. Trust me, any of you could go on Adobe Spark in about an hour, come up with that design. So props that they came up with that shirt. Props. Redeem these nuts. Yeah, they really made a shirt. I kid you not. Like I said before, Don West announced tonight that his cancer is in remission. So if you are on social media, maybe you want to stop by one of his accounts and just send him a congrats. Because trust me, I know a lot of these people out there with the blue check marks, they have their special setting on Twitter that they only see the comments of other blue check marks unless they remove the setting so they could see what people are really talking about them. A lot of you don't know about that setting. But Don West, when you see some of the back and forth interaction, he socializes with a lot of people online. And I think he will see your post. May not respond to it, but I think it'll put a nice smile on his face. So much love to him. Couple of things regarding last night with SmackDown and Rampage. And look, we're not going to get into every little detail. I'm not going to get into a whole recap show because everybody else does that. We're here to do AEW predictions, talk about a couple other little tidbits. And I want to share a little CM Punk audio that I find very interesting. I think you may like it as well. But last night, SmackDown, Keith Lee wrestled another dark match, beating Austin Theory. Xia Li beat Aliyah in a dark match. After SmackDown went off the air, they had a 6-woman tag team match. Bianca Belair, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox defeated Natalya, Tamina, and Becky Lynch. You know, look, there's a lot of people out there that think they'll never be able to turn Becky Lynch heel. Look, Roman Reigns, and I'm not making light of the leukemia. Roman Reigns could have announced his leukemia a couple of years ago and cut a couple of words out there and get the fans to turn on him in a second. WWE knows that formula. All they got to do is simply, oh, you want to have a match tonight? No. Oh. There's easy. There's storybook ways. It's in the manual, the Onions manual. They could get anybody to turn heel. It's difficult, but they can do it. So they're trying to make Becky Lynch a heel. The problem is they're falling into the Roman Reigns problem. This has nothing to do with the leukemia. This is years before. Remember Roman Reigns? They were trying to force the narrative that he's a babyface, and they were tweaking some of the video after matches. When you see somebody booing, they were actually booing Roman Reigns, but they changed the video a little bit to make it look like they were booing like AJ Styles or something. I don't remember who it was exactly, but then they were piping in extra chants. They're doing that with Bianca Belair, and they're not hiding it. And yesterday they piped in so many EST chants. And look, Bianca Belair, I like her. And, you know, just because some of the storylines she's had have been a little bit shangada doesn't mean that you should dislike Bianca Belair. The thing is, though, is you don't want your fans to start getting angry at Bianca because WWE is forcing the narrative that you must cheer her. That's what screwed up Roman Reigns many, many years ago. You know, I know that they have a plan. And hear me out. It is easier to have someone be heel than someone be face. What do I mean by that? You don't have to have Bianca Belair forced, piped in, loud EST. All you have to do is let Becky Lynch do what she knows. She's a pro. She's one of the best. She wants to be the one to turn heel to help Bianca also. Let her do it. You could make Bianca, I almost dropped my keyboard. You can make Bianca a bigger baby face by having Becky be a better heel. What problem is that you try to enhance both. And Becky is doing her thing, and you force certain things about Bianca that aren't organic, and it backfires. You want to force this? No problem. I'm going to go against it. Anyway. Some of you say that the stream is lagging. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, on my end, my connection is perfectly fine. So, yeah, I can't, I don't know what to tell you. I really apologize. Maybe if you reload, is everybody having this problem? I don't think everybody's having this problem, but anybody in the chat right now, no problems at all? I want to see. Yeah, see, some people are saying no lag whatsoever. It's got to be on your end. So I apologize, but when the show is over, I'll check it and see if there was any lagging over here. But a lot of people are saying that the stream is fine. So I don't know. It could be like a certain area with YouTube because that does happen sometimes. Actually, you know what? I'm curious. For those, yeah, see, Paul Sereno's on Facebook right now. He says it is perfect. So it's got to be on your end. You know, YouTube is not perfect. So they probably have different regions, and maybe that's what's doing it. Yeah, lower the quality too. Yeah, you don't need to see me on like high definition. I'm not worthy of that. So they got to just let Becky Lynch do what she's doing. I don't want to say that. That is, you know, Becky knows what she's doing. Just let Becky be Becky. And if Becky thinks that she could get herself over as a heel and help Bianca as a babyface in the process, you don't need to rush it. Don't throw Bianca in the microwave. You know, you could use microwave to make popcorn, and you could use microwave to heat up a food, but don't use the microwave to cook a steak because then it comes out all rubbery, right? You want Bianca to be a babyface, a bigger babyface. I told you from day one, as much as I didn't like Becky Lynch winning that match at SummerSlam the way she did, in the end, this should boost up Bianca Belair even more. In the end, that's what the goal is. Hopefully they pull it off. But let Becky do what she's doing, and don't throw Bianca in the microwave thinking that you could cook and make it perfect babyface within a week or two because it's going to come out all rubbery. Shout out to Arian. I don't think about these things beforehand. Whenever it comes to my mind. Toni Storm made an appearance yesterday. I told you she was going to be back Friday. I didn't think she was just going to say, I'm rooting for Rick Boogs. I don't know, man. I like Rick Boogs. After a while, it's getting a little annoying. Seriously. I mean, you know, I like the character. He seems like a fun guy. But I don't know, man. Him defeating Dolph Ziggler in a minute and a half yesterday, yeah, just bad taste in my mouth. Oh, I could get so raunchy to compare what it tastes like, but we're not going there today. I don't want to say I told you so, but a lot of you out there also told others. Remember when Cesaro took on Roman Reigns? The heavyweight title, main eventing a pay-per-view. And everybody in their mother, oh, they're pushing Cesaro. He's finally going to be a main eventer. He's finally going to stay on the top of it. Remember that night? And I said, everyone, bottle it. Bottle it. This was WWE's way of saying, y'all wanted Cesaro, main event. Here you go. Now shut up. That's it. That's it. Cesaro got that one night. And remember, when they killed his main event push, they didn't even let him go to the back. Didn't Seth Rollins beat the shit out of him, like in the rampway? He couldn't even go in the back, and everybody's like, man, that was great. You know, there's no WWE 24 where he walks across the gorilla position in the back, and everybody is like this, and he gets to hug Vince McMahon. Thank you for the opportunity. No, he's up the rampway. He pitches Cesaro. I mean, he obviously knew this was going to happen. He pitches Cesaro. He leaves the ring after he loses to Roman Reigns. And he's saying to himself, man, I know I'm about to be attacked, but man, wouldn't that be really, really cool if I could just walk up that aisle and then go in the back, and then everybody is on the sides of the back in the gorilla position, all giving me props and appreciation. And I get to hug Vince, and then I find out they're going to surprise me with a WWE 24, and maybe the 24 Cesaro swings represents WWE 24. Man, wouldn't that be great? He gets attacked from Seth Rollins. No, I don't think so. I feel bad, man. I love Cesaro. But I think most of you out there saw that a mile away. All those people clickbaiting. WWE is finally have plans to push Cesaro as a main eventer and keep him there. Hey, wishful thinking. Didn't I tell you also that Nia Jax versus Charlotte was a work shoot? That they tried to make it look like a shoot, even though it kind of failed a little bit. It looked like a mess. I thought the telltale sign, we talked about it Monday night. I thought the telltale sign is when Charlotte looked up to Nia and said, slap me. Okay. And they started slapping each other. You get intense. There's an adrenaline rush. She picks up, slap me. Okay. Okay. Look at, I'm not comparing them to Walter and Aliyah, but when they're exchanging slaps, and this one's going, I mean, it's adrenaline rush. And people are like, oh, they shot. Yeah, okay. They're having another match on Raw Monday. Watch what you see. Watch what you see. Tell me I'm wrong. By the way, told you this week that all that stuff that Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard were running NXT, you see how quickly they changed their story? Vince is only overseeing the major decisions. You remember that old WWF intro? For over 50 years, the leader in sports entertainment. How's about, for over 50 years, the person in charge of everything? Vince has overseen NXT since 2010. What are these people talking about? They want to push someone. They want to push something big. They want to do this. They want to do that. It always goes through Vince. Nothing changed. Stop buying into that crap, man. All week. No, Benjamin, no. Look, I am a Meltzer supporter. I still subscribe to his newsletter, but I also support Vince Russo and others. I know Meltzer is huge on AEW. If you understand Meltzer, and again, nobody forces anybody to follow Meltzer. But Meltzer himself even said, no. Vince and Bruce Pritchard overseeing the very big, important things. They have other things going on right now. He actually cleared that up for a lot of people. Triple H didn't get fucking demoted. Stop. Just because your favorite podcasters say that doesn't mean it's true. It is $1 billion company. You got Nick Khan, the godfather of WWE right now. You got investors, stock market, billions of dollars involved. Triple H is not some, little hiree that they brought him in to oversee NXT. No, he's one of the most important people in that company, executive-wise. And when they say Triple H is running the show, no, but ProWrestlingPig.com says you're a liar. When the investors start calling Nick Khan a liar, that's when I'll believe it. Telling you, give it time and you realize how many people are just lying to you because they made the bed, and in order for people to still tune into their shows, they got to sleep in it. Just be honest. If you have an opinion about something, express it as an opinion. Don't act like it's exclusive news. Because when you're wrong and then you accuse people of just lying, who am I going to believe? ProWrestlingHick.com or somebody, in Yahoo Finance? It's not hard. It's not hard. So anyway, yesterday, Rampage, Malachi Black over Lee Johnson. Look, I understand a lot of people complaining, why did Lee Johnson get that much ring time? I get it. I say the same thing about Daniel Garcia also. I'm not saying that he's not talented, But, Daniel Garcia looks like my 5th grade nephew who just had communion. Seriously. I honestly think that this piece of paper is like, has more definition than his chest. Let me see this guy chop him or Walter on AEW. Just do it. And let me see what happens. He'll slap him so hard in his chest, there'll be an imprint on his back. It'll look like that old Andre the Giant shirt on his back. He didn't slap him in the back. But the reason why I'm not complaining about either Lee Johnson and Daniel Garcia is because people forget what Rampage is intended for. It's up-and-coming stars mixed in with an extra match or two to appeal to people who don't want to see the up-and-coming stars. Not a lot of people want to see Daniel Garcia. It's not his fault. He's still very young in his career. I'm not going to criticize the guy. Right now, like I said on Wednesday, when they have him cutting a promo and he's wearing a sweatsuit that looked like he bought it in the Walmart kids section, it's just like, you don't look tough and intimidating because you're wearing a sweatsuit. Darby, I'm going to kick your ass. No, it's like, wear something that makes you look like, when people are like, who is this guy? And he's got, make a presence about yourself. Not like you look like you just walked out of the YMCA. They had after school special today. And I'm not trying to be a jerk. Shem, I know Malachi Black said he was going to take his time, but Lee Johnson got a lot of offense in. And that's why people were like, why did he get that much time in there? Look, ever since I was a kid watching wrestling, you would have a heel go to pin a baby face, and when it went to the 2 count, they would pick up the guy's head. No, I'm not done yet. That's fine. But the heel would just continue a massacre towards the baby face. Lee Johnson got a lot of offense in there yesterday, and a lot of people are like, it's just Lee Johnson. Well, that's what Rampage is supposed to do. You throw this person out there, you throw this person out, and I'm defending these guys. That's where you showcase them. You tease a bigger match, like next week we're getting Pac versus Idolo. He would have, now Idolo, Andrade, now by next week he would have been in AEW for 13 weeks, and he has had 1 4-minute match. How do you like that contract? 13 weeks, 1 match. By the way, how do you like how many matches Jake Hager has wrestled in the last bunch of time? You start realizing how many people that have had like only 1 or 2 matches in 2 months? There's a lot of people being left behind. And I look, you don't think I want AEW to have a WWE type roster from 2005, 2003? I mean, after those AOL Time Warner contracts were up and you started bringing some more people in there, and you had people coming in from ECW and TNA and others, I mean, it was a fantasy roster. I would love to see it on AEW. The problem is, what are you going to do? Have 5 3-hour shows a week so everybody gets work? So I don't mind them bringing in more people. But in the process, and people better read between the lines. Tony Khan said some things last week, and we'll get into the CM Punk audio right now. Tony Khan said a couple of things last week that a lot of people didn't put on the radar. When he was talking about the WWE releases, Tony Khan admitted that people in AEW should have been released. He said that he kept everybody, despite COVID, out of his own pocket, that he paid all that extra money out of his own pocket. Now, in business, because it's the right thing to do, in business, investors, they would call you a fool. Oh, he's such a nice guy. Here's $20 million. He's such a nice guy. That's not how it works. For a private company like AEW, it's okay. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. But you watch as we get further and further away from COVID. And yes, COVID will be around for quite some time to come. But as we get further and further away, you're going to start seeing a lot of contracts expire, and people know where their bread is buttered. They're not going to trash AEW. My God, you get paid a small amount of money, and you're allowed to work other companies, and then that contract work runs out, and you end up, they don't bring you back right now, and you realize, wow, look at all this money I got, and I hardly had to do anything. They're going to just say, I want, this was a beautiful opportunity, and I hope to be back one day in the near future, and blah, 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 because Tony Khan makes AEW feel like a big family. It doesn't feel like a gigantic corporate business. And I think everybody will agree on that. So when you feel like that's what Dixie Carter and TNA always made it feel, oh, and Dixie. Notice how no one says Uncle Vince, Grandpa Vince, the father I never had. Has anybody, other than Triple H, I love you, Dad? I mean, over the years. No, because it's a business. It's corporate. So now, let's play this clip. I want to share it with you. I must do this the right way so I don't get into any trouble. Here in New York, we have a radio station, WFAN. Used to love WFAN, even when they used to talk wrestling at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday 30 years ago. Moose and Maggie. They had CM Punk on a couple of days ago. And he talked about his return to wrestling. He talked about the reasons why he wanted to go to AEW. Couple of quotes. He said that a lot of people assumed that he would have went straight to AEW a couple of years ago. He says watching him make a huge splash on the screen 2 years ago and grow into this company with TNT firmly behind them, watching for 2 years and seeing how everything developed and realizing that this place is possibly all I ever wanted in professional wrestling. He says he admits that he knows things have changed in WWE. But when he showed up for the first time in 2006, it was a Shark Tank, and the culture there is very much different than they would like to what it is compared to now. On AEW versus WWE, and then I'll play the audio clip. He says, I never got any time off during the time I was there. There was a point I was begging for time off, and here I don't think that's ever going to happen. I feel like if I tell Tony, and he's already asked me, we were out to dinner one night, and he says, do you guys plan on going on vacation anytime soon? And CM Punk was like, I just got here. He said it was very much appreciated. And he also says that he would not have stopped. He would not have taken himself out of that bad situation until he did. He had to break that cycle because no one in a position of power, no one would have stepped in. Everything is just different now. Now, here's the audio clip. It has to do with AJ Lee, AJ Mendez. I know you have read a bunch of text interviews where CM Punk says, I even think I wrote one down. Hold on. I think I wrote one down. Did I write one down? Thought I did. I guess I didn't. The New York Post one is the one that's floating around more than any other. And in the CM Punk interview with the New York Post, CM Punk says, I'm going to end this rumor right now. AJ is not coming back to wrestling because of the neck issues. And he talks about her size, and he talks about, I'm sure 99.9% of you out there have read at least one interview in the last week where CM Punk has said AJ is not returning to wrestling. Neck issues, small physique, there's a shelf life. You've heard all that. You didn't hear this. Here's clip number one that sets up what I'm going to play for you. This is from Moose and Maggie, WFAN, CM Punk.
You mentioned, happy wife, happy life. Any guy that's married knows that, right? Could you see your wife returning and joining the AEW?
The great AJ Lee.
I would love to see it. I get asked that question every single time I do an interview, and I love it. I absolutely.
Do you think she wants to do it?
I don't. It's because she's a teeny tiny person and she's got a bad neck. She wrestled. I think the shelf life for females in wrestling, wrestling a full schedule is a lot shorter. It's a lot smaller than men. And she, I think, is so focused on what she's doing now, writing screenplays. She's working on a million different projects, being pulled in so many different directions.
Okay. So far, he pretty much has said what he said in every interview. I want you to hear this second little set clip that he said right after that. And listen closely, and you tell me if this sounds like, and it's just opinion, not reporting it as news or anything like that, but you listen to this second part, and you tell me if AJ definitely not going to be returning to wrestling. Listen to this.
I think she would probably be maybe receptive to the idea of coming back, but she just it's like that can't even enter her vocabulary right now because she's so focused on the movie scripts and TV adaptations of a book that she's working on.
I don't know if you heard that clearly. Let me play that last 30 seconds again. Listen very closely what he says.
I think she would probably be maybe receptive to the idea.
Probably
of
maybe
back,
receptive to the idea.
But she just it's like that can't even enter her vocabulary right now because she's so focused on the movie scripts and TV adaptations of a book that she's working on.
So she can't even enter that idea right now because of what she's working on. Sounds like the door is a little bit open. Like I said, it's probably the wrestling fan in me that appreciated AJ when she was out there. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, we talk about Alexa Bliss, and it's a hard sell to see her overpower people as big as Nia Jax and others. Riho, a lot of people could not buy into Riho as the AEW Women's Champion because of, her size. You see, it's AJ Lee was extremely small, and yet she was able to suspend disbelief for all of us that what she was doing in the ring was telling a story, that it was believable. So I like AJ Lee. And obviously, as we don't get to pry into their personal life much, but the little drips and drabs you get to learn about her or hear about her, you hear nothing but good things. So yes, as a selfish wrestling fan, I would love to see her back. That second comment, very interesting. She can't even entertain that idea right now because of all the projects. If it was just the neck and that's it, it's like, look, even if she wanted to entertain it, the neck is not going to change and that's it. That was not said. Yeah, some of you out there agree with me and some of you out there disagree. Did not like AJ. Look, nobody gets 100% approval rate. So I get it. There's a lot of you out there that wouldn't like AJ Lee. There's a lot of you that do. I happen to be a fan of her, and we'll see what happens. We're starting to hear the rumors of Paige trying to make a comeback. Listen. Obviously, with the tragedies that have happened in wrestling on WWE's watch, the tragedies in the past, Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Owen Hart, others. Owen obviously could not, no one could have ever expected what happened. But as far as wellness goes, they take that extremely serious. Now, yes, if you want to be cold for a second, this is a tax write-off for WWE. This is a tax write-off. I mean, a lot of the generosity, donations by people, at the end of the day, you could write that off as taxes. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. WWE is very, 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 very stern on wellness. Not just that they want to see the well-being of everybody, but they don't want another tragedy on their watch. And that's why you see some people that make a comeback And still WWE is not interested. You know, if WWE thinks that somebody could ultimately become a liability, unless it's someone that is going to knock the gate down, like Edge and others, they don't get that chance. Look at Christian. I mean, it's pretty obvious, so you could figure it out. You think Christian, when he made his return at the Royal Rumble, and he felt great after, yeah, I feel really good. You know, keep me around. Pay me $5 million. You fucking kidding me? God. Think Christian was asking for a crazy amount of money? No. But Christian was gone for 7 years, and we always felt that he was forced into retirement. You remember the shows from the past. But Christian did have some legitimate injuries. He was convinced that he could return. Daniel Bryan was convinced he could return. And there were so many doctors that backed up Daniel Bryan that if WWE did not bring him back or not let him out of a contract, it almost looks like a conspiracy. I have all these doctors, not just, you know, the ones that are into more of non-medicinal, therapies, homeopathic, I think that's the word. You had legitimate brain doctors saying Daniel Bryan could return. And Daniel Bryan wanted to return 100%. WWE saw value in Daniel Bryan. Christian, I'm ready to return. All right, we'll put him in the Royal Rumble. Now he shines. Holy shit. Okay, now it's put up or shut up, and WWE shut up. So you see Edge, you see Christian, and it's almost like Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I don't want anybody to take this the wrong way, but for me, I've liked Matt Hardy more than Jeff Hardy for many years now. And Matt Hardy has reinvented himself. I even liked it with version 1. I don't even know if this is the right way to do it, but I can't do it. But version 1, whatever. But Matt Hardy has reinvented himself. Yeah, Jeff Hardy draws and he sings and he's talented at it. Just didn't fit for me. You know, do I want Jeff Hardy? No more words. Or do I want delete? So I've liked Matt Hardy more. But you could see with WWE, we like Jeff more than we like Matt. We like Edge more than we like Christian. We like Shawn more than we like Marty. You could see sometimes. And look at Christian now. I don't know if he's going to be in the main event tomorrow. They'll call it a semi-main event, but I don't know if Christian will be closing out that show tomorrow. Could be. If put it this way, if Kenny Omega and Christian close out tomorrow, the possibility of Daniel Bryan showing up tomorrow might escalate a little bit further. I still think Daniel Bryan shows up in New York, but if they want to speed it up a little bit further, why not? Who's going to be the Joker in the Women's Battle Royal tomorrow? A lot of people think Ruby Soho. And, I don't know if you heard me say this the other day. I don't remember if it was on Patreon. And please do not call me an idiot. Pablock! He's got 3 hands. Pablock, welcome, my friend. I'm not saying I don't like Jeff Hardy. Please, everyone out there, don't take that the wrong way. I like Jeff Hardy. You son of a bitch, you pin-carrying cross. Damn you! I like Jeff Hardy. I am so happy that him and his brother overcame their demons. I mean, that's, Jeff, it's a little bit more of a struggle still. It's good story. But as far as entertainment-wise, I'm entertained a lot more with Matt Hardy. So, Paige trying to return. Jared DeFries. DeFries, welcome, my friend. Much love. I don't know, some of you say that the audio is not syncing up tonight. I swear to you, I have all my settings exactly the same. It's got to be a YouTube thing. Everybody on Facebook and Twitter I'm looking at right now, I'm looking at comments from people on Twitter. They're all saying the same thing. In fact, let me get an update from my Facebook and Twitter people. I will post it on the screen to show everyone. Do you have sync issues? My thoughts on Carl Anderson. Okay. My thoughts on Carl Anderson. For those that don't know, and wait, Charlie, you tuned in to the other day. I talked about it the other day. I didn't mention his name, but I was talking about him. WWE sent a reminder when they heard about the tragedy of Daffney. They sent a reminder to everybody in the company that, there are psychiatrists and there are counselors available 24/7, 365 if needed, that WWE is very serious about that. And Carl Anderson, said, yeah, they suck pretty much, like WWE sucks. I mean, my honest opinion about this is this. I'm not trying to be overly PC when I say this, okay? Max Caster says some messed up stuff about Simone Biles and alleged rapes in a college. And I didn't think he should have been suspended. But I think, if you're going to single it out and make it sound utterly disgusting to the point where Tony Khan is going to take control of production for Dark, what about everybody who was producing Dark that let that go through? Like, nobody paid the price publicly. You want to do it privately, fine. Then do it privately with Max Caster as well. But they put Max Caster out there like a deer in headlights, and I thought that was unfair. Charlotte did not make fun of Simone Biles' issues. She tried to relate to it, make it seem like it was hers. Duke Lacrosse was messed up too because they're all proven to be not guilty. Here's my point. I like MJF. MJF, there's a line where you don't know where the character stops and where the real person begins. And some of the things he says to some people out there is just totally outrageous. And there was even a comment made in the last day or two about maybe a fan should have been aborted. I don't have the exact thing in front of me. And there is utter silence in AEW. Carl Anderson, calls out WWE that they suck, even though they were reminding people about mental health and everything like that. AEW is awfully freaking silent when it comes to talents that are much higher on the food chain. They just turn a blind eye, ignore it, and don't even pay mind. And the problem is a majority of AEW fans also turn a blind eye to it. A majority of websites that want to feel like if they showed up at an AEW event, hey, how you doing? I love your site. I heard about you. You got a pretty damn good show. You're a little bit salty and this and that, but man, come here. Have a hug, have a Coke, sit down, have a Coke and a smile. Here's this. Oh, maybe one day we could do this and this and that. Blah, 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 blah. It's like Jeremy Borash back with TNA. Every time they would go to a town, Jeremy Borash would say, you guys were such a great crowd. I'm going to talk to the people in the back and I'm going to try to get them to come back for a pay-per-view. Everybody would go home. He said that we were so good that they might come back. Any of them ever come back for a fucking pay-per-view? Nope. Jeremy Borash said, every time Jeremy Borash said, he must have giggled. It's his 37th down that they bought that shit. Look at the utter silence. I'm not saying Carl Anderson should be held accountable, and I'm not saying that MJF should be held accountable. All I'm saying is that take note of the utter silence in the AEW world when shit like this keeps happening. And take note of all of the people out there that think they're going to get a job one day where they won't even get a hand job. Take note of everybody out there that ignores it. Take note. Sooner or later, somebody with a blue check mark that has a set of balls is going to speak up and start calling this shit out. And it can't just be Jim Cornette and others. I'm telling you, sooner or later, people are going to start speaking up when they realize, fuck it, I ain't getting a fucking job. I keep praising the shit out of him, and I even can't get a like. I can't do this. Why am I moving my shoulders like this? Sooner or later, they're going to get called out on it. And then when people start taking note, oh, you remember this? Remember this? Remember this? Remember this? Remember this? How come I didn't say this? I'm not trying to bash AEW, but when you see this utter silence from all these people, understand they don't give a fuck. They don't give a shit. They go through the motions. Chase Stevens, go look at his Twitter account today. Chase Stevens, Moose talked about it 2 days ago, the formula that I've been saying for 2 years now, the formula. Moose didn't get it from me, but Moose is starting to notice it. Chase Stevens noticed it today. Daffney's not even dead 2 days, and look at some of the shit that people are saying today. 2 days ago, we got to be better. 2 days later, I wish some people would die. Double standard. Kevin, I don't care if anybody apologized to anybody. Where is management speaking up? This is not uncalled for. This is not right. This is not acceptable. We're better than that. And tell the person to shut up. Is AEW afraid that MJF may say, fuck you, I'm not showing up? Is AEW afraid, or Impact Wrestling, that Carl Anderson may say, fuck you, I'm expressing an opinion. I was there. I saw it. Shut up. Are these people afraid, people online, that they might get blocked from someone if I express? Seriously. Oh, Lee, please, let Manhattan Island be what it is. Those people on Manhattan Island, people I don't know, I call my old Discord channel Manhattan Island. You remember Escape from New York, where all the garbage ends up getting dumped on Manhattan Island so they could all just basically just kill each other and just rot? That's what that page has turned into. There's a few good people in there. I'm not saying that everybody there. There's some wonderful people in there, but they can't even have a conversation because there's about 12 pieces of shit that just, oh, God, please. Mish, buy me out, please. I only want 4 digits. Buy me out. You could have the whole channel. Because one day I'm going to end up imploding it. Seriously. Not yet. Too many good people around. So anyway, AEW announced today some wrestling figures. I'm going to get into the list of figures, and then we're going to do predictions. Jazzwares revealed that CM Punk, they will be coming out with an AEW CM Punk figure, the Unmatched Series 4. That will feature CM Punk, Jade Cargill, Cartazon, De Leon, Chris Jericho, his character, because there are multiple Jericho. Adam Page, MJF, and Cody Rhodes. Man, Jazzwares, here's a challenge. Here's a challenge, and I mean this. Please, make an MJF figure with the middle finger up, please. 1, put the extra hand, like you're doing a Britt Baker one with the bloody head, and there's going to be like 2 or 3 bloody heads in it, I think. Just do the alternate hand when MJF has the middle finger, please. Do that. Come out with a Tony Khan figure where the fingers are in the ear. Hey, did you hear what so-and-so said? No, I was in the back helping somebody cut a promo. But it was blasted on the speakers. I was in the back watching somebody cut a promo. Yeah, I agree, man. I opened up the show and I kind of got lost track of it. You know, I said Wednesday or Thursday that Daffney should be put in WWE Hall of Fame, the Warriors side, because no matter how much pain that girl went through, she always tried to put smiles on everybody else's. Up to the end. You look at Zoom chats and combos and some exchanges with people, even up to a couple of days ago, always trying to make people smile. And going through horrible CTE, going through extreme loneliness, dealing with extreme weight gain, having issues with pain, issues, disability. There was so many things going on at the same time, and WWE won't touch it because mental health, I hate saying it like this, it's not sexy. It's not sexy. It is depression, mental health, all these vices. There's no way to make it look, it's a very dark topic. It's a very, very dark topic. And they don't want to go there. They want happy face. They want happy face. Little kid has cancer. We don't want to talk about the cancer itself and what it does to the dissident. No, we just want the person to be pinned by a wrestler. And everybody, and look, I understand that with kids. You don't want kids to see other kids like that. But we're talking about grown-ass adults. How are we ever going to handle depression if everybody thinks posting a suicide hotline number and saying, you matter, you're special, we care, you're not alone? Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. A lot of people think, oh, I Zoomed her. I texted her. I emailed her. I talked to her. This is what was missing. And it's very difficult when your best friends are 1,000 miles away. Very difficult when people have their own lives. I don't expect anybody to drop and stop what they're doing and travel to Norcross, Georgia to spend a couple of days with her. I mean, that's not something that cures in a day. It's just built and built and built and built. And CTE, man, especially someone that small, I don't ever wish that on anybody, not even my biggest enemies. And like I said, I hope I did good. I hope I did good Thursday. I think I owed it to her. So anyway, let's talk about the rest of the figures. Oh, let me give you the rest of the figures. Thank you, Lee. I owe you, brother. So Christian Cage will be part of the Unrivaled Series 9, along with Eddie Kingston, Thunder Rosa, Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs, Arian Portestega. Welcome to the family. I know it'll officially pop up in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome, my friend. By the way, I want to thank all of you for hanging out on a Saturday night. I know a lot of you out there have bigger and better things to do. Maybe not. For those that are wondering still why I moved this from Friday to Saturday, I'm getting old. It's pretty obvious. And I have a very tough time sleeping as it is. And Monday's show usually ends past 1 a.m. By the time I go to sleep, it's 3. And I have to get up at 6:30, Monday through Friday. And when you do that 2-3 days, 4 days out of the week, it really catches up to you. And I love doing a Friday night show. Don't get me wrong. I love it. But, everybody does a Friday show. And a lot of you out there have to pick and choose who you want to tune in live. And when there are other shows out there live and they're on your priority list too, I don't want to go to sleep at 3, 4 in the morning on a Friday night, when a majority of you are tuning into other options. And I don't want anybody to change their viewing habits. So I figured Saturday night, a couple of hours earlier, we hang out till like 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. Still, I could have a good evening with my significant other, and I'll be back here tomorrow after AEW All Out. Monday's Labor Day, so I get to sleep late again. So anyway, let's get into the predictions. AEW All Out tomorrow. Now, I had to think about this with a little bit of detail for some matches because I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do, like where some of these storylines were going to go. But one thing I think we all admit, let's pull this. Oh, yeah. By the way, here's make sure you tune in tomorrow. By the way, I got to give a shout out to Raheem for that very cool graphic that he drew for me. I don't think Raheem did Connor's channel. Remember Connor? That podcasted, really, really good guy, man. Really, really. He's getting back into the wrestling stuff. I don't want anybody to think like I copied off of him. I don't think he did Connor's work, but I know the logos. I think me and Connor kind of look alike. You know, I don't know if he's a Goomba. I don't know if he's Italiano, but anyway, reminds me of Connor when I see that logo. But here we go. All Out tomorrow. Let's get into the matches. And I'll be up here 5 minutes after we're live to do a review. And by the way, if you're a channel member, there's a predictions contest going up right now. I know for everybody on Patreon, is there a contest? No, we do one a month. And I think that's more than fair. And I'm not trying to like play favorites, but the thing is on the Patreon, there's more than one person on there. And when I do prizes and giveaways, it comes out of my own pocket. I don't take a third from someone else and a third from someone else. It's never been that way. You know, on YouTube, though, you know, with the exception of Breakfast Soup, because I take care of Mish, but, you know, this channel's mine. So, you know, I try to give back a little bit more here because it's mine, you know, so second contest plus the prize is smaller here. There's only one winner compared to 3 on Patreon. So Patreon still ends up with a bigger prize at the end of the day. So, yeah, you know what? Before I do that, yeah, Steph, okay. Sonya versus Naomi. About SmackDown yesterday. I'd be more, in fact, I'll answer some questions. Let me answer Sonya versus Naomi first. Then we'll do predictions. And then any questions you have in the chat, I'll answer them tonight. Naomi now is on SmackDown. And Naomi wants a match. Sonya Deville, for some reason, is acting like a bitch. It's me next week. I'm busy right now. Leave me alone. Where I see this going is one of two ways. Shem, I will bring up the MJF Jericho because I kind of echo exactly what you're saying right now. Absolutely. But with Naomi, I see this going one of two ways. If they want, remember, let me backtrack this a little bit. You remember about 6 months ago, I said that WWE ultimately is going to do a storyline when Sonya Deville is ready. Sonya Deville may handle one brand and Adam Pearce will handle the other. Remember that? We got the draft coming up in October. And who is going to represent Raw? Who is going to represent SmackDown? And the thing is that unless they add someone as a GM, it's going to look odd to not have people on each side of the aisle. And trust me, I don't want to see the war room again. I don't want to see Natty has been drafted to Raw. The robot. And I know what some of you are saying. Wait, Natty was drafted to Raw. Why is the robot celebrating on Fox? Because Natty was drafted to Raw. Remember that? I hated the Raw. Alex Rodriguez, yeah, he gives a shit. Talking about all these football and baseball. Yeah, they give a shit. Wait, who's the person again? Jinder Mahal? Jinder Mahal? They didn't give a shit. Seriously. Yeah. Shake it up. Time to shake it up. So one's got to compete on the other. So with the Naomi thing, I see one of two things going on. Naomi may get a match, and she may go out there for a match, and Sonya may go out there. Wait, I didn't put you in a match. I did. Maybe Adam Pearce. Could happen. They got to be careful, though. It's not a black or a white thing, but they got to be careful, though, because you don't want it to be stupid to the point like, why is Sonya Deville being such a bitch to Naomi? You know what I mean? So you got to be a little careful with that. So that's one way they could go. The second way they could go is the tribal chief, the head of the table, the family. That Naomi gets a match, and they are responsible for it. The Usos, Paul Heyman, Roman Reigns, they could have gone to Adam Pearce. They made him an offer he can't refuse. That could be something else too. I know a lot of you out there want to see Naomi paired up with Roman Reigns and the Usos. I love that idea. It reminds me of what they're doing now with Legado del Fantasma. Now they have a female member of the group. Hit Row has a female member of the group. So why not put a female member with Roman Reigns and the Usos? So, I could see that as a possibility. So I don't know which way, but something tells me I expect Naomi to come out there for a match, and either Sonya Deville knows nothing about it, or they do something in the back where Naomi is like stretching, putting on her boots, and Sonya walks by. I don't know. Why are you getting dressed? You don't have a match. Oh, yes, I do. Adam Pearce gave me a match. Oh, really? Really? Remember that. I think that's where we're going to go with this. Look, I know a lot of you out there don't like, wow, all Naomi could get is, I want a match. X me next week. Tony Storm, all she gets is, I'm rooting for Rick. I get it. But, WWE, it's just like an ongoing soap opera. Everybody has little roles somewhere. I know you want Tony Storm to just kick ass in the ring. The problem is, she's not going to leapfrog Bianca Belair. She's not going to leapfrog Becky Lynch. She's not going to leapfrog Natty or Tamina right now. She's not going to leapfrog Sasha Banks, who is possibly going to return within the next 2 weeks. Remember I said that. So what are you going to put her out there for? To lose? To lose? So when people say, I want her in the ring. Okay. All right. She gets squashed like a grape to someone. That's not what I meant. You have to look one step ahead. I want to see Naomi back in the ring, but I want it to be under the right circumstances. I don't want somebody back on TV where she gets no entrance. We go back from commercial. Naomi's in the ring already. She's standing in the corner warming up. And next thing you know, Nia Jax comes out and just squashes her in 45 seconds. I know it's not going to happen because Nia's on Raw, but you understand where I'm going with that. Yeah, Liv Morgan. Give it some time. Liv Morgan as well. You don't want these women back, or even guys. You don't want them back just to get squashed. AEW All Out tomorrow. The buy-in match. Now, the buy-in was supposed to be the 21-woman casino battle royale. That has been bumped to the main card. Not because the women earned it and deserved it, but because Andrade and Pac, their match is off. I said it Wednesday. How sad, ironically sad is that? For a month, the backstage segments with Chavito, Andrade, the Lucha Brothers, and Pac had to do with travel issues. You have Alex Marvez. Pac, you're back here. And where are your tag team partners? Oh, they had travel problems. And here's Andrade with Chavito. Oh, we offered your partners a limo. They had travel problems. We picked them up. We showered them, give them soap. I don't know, soap, S-O-A-P. And the whole thing for 3 or 4 weeks was travel. Travel issues. Travel issues is why they're not having their match tomorrow. You can't make that shit up. So now it's going to be next week, next Friday on Rampage. Oh, that feels like a feud culminating on Rampage. So now the women get to the pay-per-view, the main pay-per-view. So now who's the buy-in? Best Friends in Jurassic Express versus the Hardy Family Office. That is the buy-in match. If I read every member of every participant in the team, we'd be finishing at 1 a.m. You know who the participants are with Private Party at THU and Matt Hardy. And, personally, like I said for a couple of weeks now, it's only a matter of time that Willa Utah turns on Orange Cassidy. Nothing against Willa Utah, but everybody online makes it seem like, oh, he was the big, surprise, person that WWE passed up on. Yeah, okay. Okay. I like Wheeler, Utah. But sorry, the way I see things, Wheeler, Utah, there's about 20 people that he would have to leapfrog to get any major thing. So the only way Wheeler, Utah gets any big-time exposure is if he turns on Best Friends. I don't think it'll happen tomorrow. It's possible. But I think in the end, Wheeler, Utah is going to have to turn on Orange Cassidy. After what happened with Matt Hardy with his face, I would like to see the Hardy family office get the win. I know buy-in, everybody's there. You open up the buy-in with a babyface win. Everybody's happy. I want to see the opposite. If it was up to me, Wheeler, Utah turns tomorrow and the Hardy family get the win. Paul White versus QT Marshall. I got to bring it up. Give me 1 second. I got to bring it up. Only for this is worth it. For anybody out there that never saw it, I know I still have it. I looked at that pay-per-view poster. Please. Oh, yes, I do have it. I found it. And I'm sorry if it looks a little bit out of sync on the screen, but I'm telling you, man, I tried to find another poster that looks similar. This is their pay-per-view poster. Let's take this off. That's their pay-per-view poster. Now, look closely. Look, the arms, the neck, the fist under the neck. I swear to fucking God, I think that's where QT. No, I want a pay-per-view poster that it looks like a main eventing. Look at it. Look at that. Tell me that doesn't look the same. Let me see if I could pull it next to it. Please does this let me move? It doesn't. After a while, my settings like freeze. I can't move the poster. It looks like the same goddamn thing. Look at that. That's the first, when I saw that poster, I was like, that reminds me of a poster from yesteryear. Once in a lifetime. Please, QT, who dat? You should have wrote at the top, just like the other one. You should have wrote once in a lifetime. See on the top, once in a lifetime? Because I don't ever want to fucking see this match again. You have Malachi Black and others not on this pay-per-view, but we got to see you and your, whatever their group is, the Factory. Paul White's going to beat him. This is my pee-pee break. It's nothing personal against who that. I will always acknowledge the amount of work that man does behind the scenes. Seriously. I know everybody says, without Cody, there'd be no AEW. Without the Young Bucks, without Kenny Omega, without who that behind the scenes. I mean, he does more than anybody knows. But still, why is this guy on this pay-per-view? He gets shitted out of the building. He thinks he's a major heel. I'm one of the greatest heels in AEW. No, you're not. People don't fucking want to see you. And it's not jealousy. I have no desire to be a wrestler. That's pee-pee break for me. Paul White will win it. Jon Moxley versus Satoshi Kojima. Satoshi Kojima is about 50. I think he may be turning 51. Or may have just turned 51. But, he's up there. He's a veteran. This is someone that Moxley always wanted to face. I don't expect this match to be as long as people think it's going to be. It'll be a fun match. I want to see what happens with Moxley after this pay-per-view because there's a lot of rumors he may turn heel. Not so sure. I almost feel like I'm still thinking Moxley and Kingston or Kingston and someone else win the tag titles in New York, for Grand Slam. I'm not sure, but I don't know. But I obviously expect Moxley to beat Satoshi Kojima. I also expect a handshake after the match is over. We'll see what happens. Is that really JD here tonight? What's up, JD? I hope people don't tell you that I can't stand your guts because I'm always kissing your ass on this show, always singing the praise. That is, somebody that works his goddamn ass off. But I don't really cover New Japan much either. When only 3% of all my viewers watch New Japan, I'll answer a question here from there. What do you think about Show joining the Bullet Club? And I'm supposed to be like, okay, yeah, and the NWO had 39 members. Like, is it a big deal? Anyway, I don't know if that's JD, though. I think JD's in Chicago tonight having fun. I don't know. But anyway, I still say Moxley will beat Kojima. Maybe we'll see a sign of respect after. And Kojima's career is coming to an end soon. So this is a nice little match. I think people will enjoy it more than they expect. We'll save the other matches. Miro versus Eddie Kingston. Redeem these nuts. Why are you redeeming? No, don't redeem the card. Give me the code. Don't redeem. Oh, man, you don't know what you're all missing out if you don't watch Kit Boga. Search it on YouTube. Why are you redeeming? I don't think Miro will redeem that title tomorrow against Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston, he's like the Tommy Dreamer of AEW. And believe me, I think down the line, people will understand more why I say that. Tommy Dreamer got some belts in his career, but was not known to have a lot of belts. He was like the big #1 cheerleader for ECW. I think Eddie Kingston battles Miro, but I expect Miro to get this win. Eddie Kingston will put up a valiant fight, but in the end, Miro will win. He will retain. Britt Baker versus Chris Statlander. Okay, so they have now, even though we knew this already, but they have now done everything they can to put Britt Baker as a huge heel. It ain't working. Fans want to cheer Britt Baker. She ain't Stone Cold. And this isn't a Daniel Bryan. When Daniel Bryan was going no, the fans were going yes. Britt Baker is AEW from day one. She has improved substantially. I mean, if anybody doesn't go back with me a year and a half, let alone 25 years, when Britt Baker, I first saw her in AEW, I said, what should we call her? Should we call her Britt Bella? Because she reminded me of the long-lost sister of the Bellas. Or do we call her Dr. Shit Baker? Not because she's a heel, but because she wasn't very good. But she has worked her ass off, and Adam Cole has helped her, and she has driven hours upon hours, even though she has a dental practice, and going to school and training and training and training, and is really paying off. The character, they have to be a little bit more clear about. I think Reba will eventually be gone. I think a month from now or so, I think that will be pretty much obvious. Yeah, see, Britt Baker, a year and a half, 2 years ago, they were overhyping Britt Baker, and she did not have it in the ring. I think people forget how lackluster she was. That's why even more, I commend her hard work. I've always commended it. She definitely is by far the most improved women's wrestler in AEW. I don't see Chris Statlander winning this. Chris Statlander, they are trying so hard to get her over as a babyface. Oh my God. I hope AEW is prepared for what happens tomorrow night, because I expect Chris Statlander, unless while they're doing a promo for us to see on the screen at home, and Britt Baker comes out there and just shits all over Chicago, I expect Chicago to be totally behind Britt Baker. I expect some cheers for Chris Statlander. Maybe when she first comes out, there'll be more like cheers, but I expect Chris Statlander to get booed quite a bit. I don't care what Jamie Hayter does around ringside. I don't care what Reba or Rebel does around ringside. I don't care if Red Velvet, it doesn't matter. You're not going to change that crowd. It's going to be interesting, but no matter what, Britt Baker will retain. I don't know if Adam Cole makes an appearance. Maybe he sits in a crowd. That's what I'd like to do. I mean, I don't know if I want to see him do this. But, yeah, well, you can have Adam Cole sit in a crowd. Why not? Adam Cole, the word going around is Adam Cole, he would have seriously considered re-signing with WWE, but he wanted his Twitch account. And look, I'm going to talk about this on Monday with Mish, because Mish is really, really smart as far as contracts go also, and, you know, streaming games online and WWE and everything going on with that. The part that a lot of podcasters make the mistake, you know, a lot of people will just simply say, oh, Adam Cole, the reason why he's gone is because WWE won't let him play video games on Twitch. It's not that cut and dry. If you allow Adam Cole to do it, you have to allow. And even if you put a special stipulation that Adam Cole could do it, when this person's contract is up, I want that. This person wants to renegotiate. This person wants this, and it becomes a domino effect. Whether you agree or disagree with WWE on this, and I disagree. I think these guys and gals should be able to play video games. They're playing fucking video games. All you have to do is tell your roster, do not talk about the rival companies. Do not talk about backstage storylines. Do not talk about personal stuff, you know, with other wrestlers. But if you just want to socialize and talk about sports and the weather and the games, the video games, that's fine. I think that is perfectly fair. Hey, would you ever think about going to AEW, you know, after my contract? Oh, ask me that after my contract is up. With anybody. But you just gotta understand that, yes, we feel Adam Cole should be able to play video games and play it for others too, even if he makes a couple of dollars. But also understand why WWE is not making this so easy. Whether you agree with it or not, if you understand that fact, you get it. So yeah, you know what I would like to see? If Adam Cole is still negotiating a little bit, trying to get WWE to budge with that, I would have him sit in the crowd, not intentionally have the camera on him, but he's sitting in the crowd. AEW knows he's sitting in the crowd. AEW just flashes the picture of him on the screen. Everybody on social media gets batshit over it. Oh my God, he's there, he's there, he's there. Meanwhile, he's just sitting there supporting his wife, or, you know, supporting Britt Baker, excuse me. And that just pisses off WWE. Oh, you don't want me on TV? Let's negotiate a little further. So, now what I'm going to do, just to let everyone know, and I apologize who this affects, but I am going to be changing a setting as far as subscribers go. You're going to have to be a subscriber for at least probably, I don't know if it's going to be a week or a couple of days. I usually let anybody who subscribes to be able to chat on here. But I'm going to make it so somebody cannot sign up and just try to troll. I know who's behind some of it. I can't prove it. That's why I can't call anybody out on it. All I'm saying is that you're really not succeeding in anything, because I ain't going to end my show, and I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And all you do is you just bring everybody together even further. So if people, let me tell you something, everyone, there's some very, 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 very bitter, jealous people out there. And it's all good. It's all good. Put it this way. The fact that they have to come here and try to hurt the show shows how much it bothers them. That's how I look at it. You know, I don't care. And some of them are on Discord. Some of them are on Discord. You know, I don't name any names. You know, if someone specific thinks, are you talking about me? Then send me a DM and I'll be honest and tell you, yeah, I'm talking about you. And I'll tell you why. But, you know, some people over there, they think because they're part of the Discord, hey, he's insulting all of us. No, motherfucker, that Discord is half mine. It ain't yours. It's mine and it's Mish's. And for everybody out there that truly supports everything that we all do, it's theirs as well. But as quickly as some of you are there, I don't mind. I don't lose sleep over it. And I've been very, very nice to a few people and brought them back when people told me you're nuts. So, you know, if this makes you happy, that's cool. Just understand how ridiculously moronic you look that you are that upset about what I do that you show up here. You succeed nothing. You say a couple of words, you get shadow banned, and life goes on. Believe me. And that's why, and I'll say it bluntly, and that's why names like Kevin Castle and others get censored and blocked and barred on the shows. Not because I dislike the guy. It's all good with me and him. Moved on and that's it. But when people out there want to keep forcing a narrative and keep pushing and want to be spiteful, then I got to block it. Because then nobody gets to say it. And trust me, when the show is over, I will add a couple of words to it. So you can't write DTKC, you can't write anything else. And when you say, well, why is that name blocked? Because a lot of people want to troll and keep throwing those names out there. No problem. That's why I erase it. I don't erase it because I dislike the guy. But when people want to play games, I'll play games too. I like playing games. Anyway, so just to answer James Campbell, as far as Adam Cole returning to WWE, look, I'll say it like this. You only have 2 hours of Dynamite. And you only have 1 hour of Rampage. And Rampage is not intended to be Dynamite's third hour. WWE has Raw, that's 3 hours, and they have 2 hours of Smackdown. That is their prime time shows. Prime money, pay-per-views, all the storylines lead to pay-per-view, merchandise, everything. AEW only has 2 hours to push their prime content. Yes, you could bleed some of it over to Rampage, but that's not what Rampage is about. It comes to a point where you have to take a step back and say, okay, man, I would love to see Adam Cole in AEW. Look at how they've used Malachi Black. Look at how they have used Andrade. Idolo. As much as we have loved Malachi Black's character, his promos, and what he has done in AEW, at the end of the day, he has wrestled 2 minutes against Cody, 1 minute against Brock Anderson, and yesterday with Lee Johnson. If I had Malachi Black in my company for 7 weeks, that motherfucker would be wrestling 5, 10, 15 minutes every other week and would be featured, showcased. And they hardly use him, but because there's a segment for a minute every week, you feel like he's on your TV every week. Andrade, Idolo, has been there 13 weeks by next week. 13. And he has wrestled 1 match. Why? Because he's wearing a suit? And he's back there with Chavito? Oh, he's on my TV. He's wrestled next to nothing. Look at the WWE 90-day no-compete clause and the 3 months that he's worked for AEW. This guy has gotten, how much do you think Andrade makes a year? 200,000? I mean, someone dressed like that with the limos, if you found out he made 60,000, be like, get the fuck out of here. It would kill his whole persona. The guy makes a comfortable salary. Now, keep in mind, for 1/2 of a year, for 6 months, he has wrestled 1 match, other than the AAA. Now you bring in Adam Cole. Where is he going to wrestle? Where are they going to put the time in for him? Who do you think he's going to wrestle? Maybe he gets a match versus Darby. Maybe he gets a match versus Eddie Kingston. Maybe he gets you think he's going to suddenly wrestle Kenny Omega? What are they going to do? A 6-pack challenge with every person that they sign? Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, Kenny Omega, Adam Cole, this and that, all at the same time. So as much as I would love to see Adam Cole in AEW, they're having a horrendous time giving these guys weekly matches and matches that matter. I mean, other than Darby Allin versus CM Punk, I mean, who's Darby Allin feuded with? Wasn't he feuding with Matt Hardy? Wasn't he, like, other than, wasn't he feuding with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page? Okay, they had the tag match with Sting. This guy has a match. Look at 2.0, 1.0, Daniel Garcia, this is Sanab, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's just throwing matches out there. It's like an indie event every week. So when you realize the amount of money that Adam Cole should be making, you imagine him coming to AEW and only wrestling once or twice in 3 months? Ken Terminator by DQ wanted to shout out Austin Nash, nice analogy, and a few others for being true gentlemen. Austin is not a nerd. Austin is very good people. Just like those guys think you're good people and you think those guys are good people, Austin is a good people to others as well. So we all get along here. And if somebody really gets under your skin, you could just ignore them, put them on ignore, and you don't see their stuff ever again. So that's the thing I don't understand. Shout out to Brian M once again. See, that's the thing I don't understand. If somebody really gets under your skin, there is a setting where you don't have to see their comments. I think some people want to see people's comments because they wonder, is that person talking about me? Just block them. You don't see them ever again. Problem solved. All right, let's get back to predictions. So Britt Baker will retain against Chris Statlander. The Young Bucks versus the Lucha Brothers in a steel cage. This might be the match of the night. CM Punk versus Darby is going to be a lot of people's favorite match of the night, but I don't know if it's going to be the match of the night. The Lucha Brothers and the Young Bucks, they make magic when they're wrestling each other. This cage match is going to be insane. As much as I want the Lucha Brothers to win these belts, I just get the feeling that the Young Bucks will remain champions going into New York. I think they have to be the focal point tag team championship heels leading into New York, which happens in 3 weeks. So I am going to go with the Lucha Brothers to lose to the Young Bucks. It'll be interesting to see if somebody is under the ring during the cage match. It'll be interesting to see what fuckery goes down. But I think at the end of the day, the Young Bucks are going to retain. The 21-woman casino battle royale. And I was going to say something earlier about Ruby Soho that some of you are going to say, DT, yeah, you're welcome. You're late to the game. But I thought about it last week. And I don't remember if I said it on last Wednesday's show, but I'm going to say it tonight. But first, let me give you the participants for the Casino Battle Royale. We got Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, Ty Conti, The Bunny, Anna Jay, Big Swall, Julia Hart, Diamante, Penelope Ford, Red Velvet, Hikaru Shida, Emi Sakura, Jade Cargill, Kiera Hogan, Abaddon, Layla Hirsch, Kylan King, Rebel, Jamie Hayter, Sky Blue, Riho, and the Joker. Who's going to be the Joker? I think Ruby Soho. Now, if it made more sense, Ruby should debut at AEW Grand Slam. I don't know if anybody picked up on this, and I'm curious. I'm going to see the chat room right now. I don't have where I could put the chat on the screen. I'm sorry. But the chat room right now. When Ruby was traveling, and it looked like she was traveling to the Northeast. You know, if anybody's seen the vignettes that she's been posting online, stealing the car and all this other stuff. She went to the club, drinking. Do you know where her destination was? In fact, if anybody out there right now posts it, I'm going to put it on the screen right now. Anybody out there figure out what her destination was when she showed the ID? When she originally said she was Heidi Lovelace and she's like, oh, wrong ID, and she shows Ruby Soho. What was her destination? Where did she go in the Northeast? I'm curious to see if anybody out there pick up what I thought I picked up last week. Some of you I know heard my Patreon show, so I know some people are going to come up with the name. But I have the chat right now on the screen, and it's like an 8-second delay, but I'm curious. Anyone out there, what was Ruby's destination on the Northeast? Where were all these segments going? I'm looking. Okay, yeah, Chris L got it. So we give Chris L the credit. By the way, Chris, your CM Punk shirt is on order, and the wrapper is going out Monday. I had to get a good envelope to put it between cardboard, and I wanted to make sure it was protected. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know why I didn't think about this last week, but I was like, wait a minute. All her traveling. Oh, no, she's traveling in the Northeast. She's going to debut in MLW. Oh, no, she's going to be at AEW Grand Slam. And I was like, wait a minute. She's going to Soho. I used to go to Soho in the late 80s. And I was like, damn, boy, am I stupid. Ruby Soho, she was going to Soho. It's not about destination New York. She was going back to her roots, which is Soho in New York City. That's where that was. So anyway, I'm still thinking that Ruby makes her debut tomorrow, even though I'd like to see it happen in New York. But honestly, there's no reason to wait until New York. So who do I think is going to win tomorrow? See, Britt Baker is going to retain. And I think whoever Britt Baker is going to face next, as far as a feud, it's going to happen in New York, which is 3 weeks from now. It doesn't have to be Ruby Soho representing Soho, New York, to be over in New York. I think, see, a lot of people did not think about the Soho thing. It hit me last week, and I think Chris L, seriously, I think he got it because he heard the Patreon show. But I didn't see anybody online saying Soho, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I'm looking at the background, and I'm looking at the streets. I'm like, that looks like near Greenwich Village. And I was like, oh, stupid me. She's going to Soho. I don't know if Soho got flooded. I haven't really checked. I was so inundated with claims with my customers on Friday. You know, oh my God, you have no idea. I got 1 hour sleep on Wednesday because of not knowing what happened with Daffney. And then Thursday night was a very emotional night. And then Friday I got greeted to claims after claims after claims. So that's why this weekend I needed to really relax. So I think Thunder Rosa wins. I know we've already seen Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker go at it. But I think now with Thunder Rosa under AEW contract, we need to see a big name go up against Britt Baker. And I understand they want to keep the title on Britt Baker, but she can't have a stranglehold on that title, especially since it's so hard because they want to insist that she's a heel, but she's getting a lot of babyface reaction because she's using, the baddest bitch on the block and all this stuff. And it's hurting Chris Statlander. It's hurting Red Velvet. Trust me, when Red Velvet came out for a match in Pittsburgh, of course they understood that Britt Baker was going to be cheered because it's a hometown. But that carried over into other areas. Chris Statlander shows up and she's getting heel heat and she's looking around probably saying wait, I'm a best friend. Everybody's supposed to be embracing me. Rainbows and smiles and butterflies and clouds and sunny days, whatever. So Britt Baker, because of AEW's undecisiveness and the way she's over with the crowd, is hurting a lot of other people. So you need to put her up against a babyface that the fans truly will stick behind. And I think that should be Thunder Rosa. So I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa. Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage. There ain't no way Christian is going to start becoming the belt keeper. Sorry. I love Christian's run. So happy he's back in wrestling. Christian on TV is better than Christian not on TV. And, Impact Wrestling, I've been talking about it for 7 months, 8 months. People are only starting to figure it out now. They're not even getting 100,000 viewers. They wrecked their promotion so bad in 2021, and you can't just blame it on COVID. They made a concerted effort to use AEW Well, not use them, because AEW got a lot of talent to work for them that weren't under contract. But they went the AEW route and it bit them in the ass. It bit them in the ass. And you could have Kenny Omega on there. You could have Tony Khan on there. You could have Tony the Tiger on there. You could have Shad Khan, Nick Khan, Tony Khan, blah, blah, blah Khan. You could have anybody you want. You could have Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy. You could have Public Enemy, Private Party. You could have anybody you want. And it ain't doing shit to the ratings there. It's sending a message that we don't have anybody on our roster under contract to Impact Wrestling that is strong enough to carry our title. That's the message it sends. Whether they like it or not, that's the message it sends. And how do I know? Enough Impact Wrestling fans that are diehard Impact Wrestling fans over the last 7 months. Every time I bring it up, they comment on the chat room, they email me, they post it in the YouTube comments, that a lot of, and Impact Wrestling refuses to hear this, a lot of your hardcore fans are not thrilled of the AEW influence on your product. And they noticed that when Kenny Omega and the Good Brothers and everybody is ransacking Impact Wrestling and nobody shows up at Daly's place ever, Camille. Layla Hirsch had an awesome match with Camille, like I said earlier this week. And what did Layla Hirsch prove? That Layla wrestling in NWO, when she's wrestling in NWA, when she's wrestling in NWA, Layla Hirsch is legit. When she's wrestling on AEW, they treat her like shit. They don't give her enough time. She's got to go to step 2, 3, and 4 before they can even get to step 1, because they only get 5 minutes or 6 with a commercial break. And during a commercial break, you're not supposed to do all that much. Kenny Omega will retain against Christian Cage. I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever. Be interesting to see how much fuckery goes on during that match. But I think Kenny Omega retains, and maybe if Daniel Bryan appears, maybe Daniel Bryan will be next to confront Kenny Omega. I can picture it now. I don't know if Daniel Bryan debuts tomorrow, but we'll see. Maybe somebody from Japan, shows up. Maybe somebody from Impact. I don't know, but I think we're going to see a quick shift away from Christian Cage tomorrow after Kenny Omega wins. I think before, not the Cesaro route. Remember earlier Cesaro? I think when Christian Cage, when that match is over tomorrow, before he can even go to the back, either the lights are going to go out or somebody's going to appear, and it's going to take all the attention off of Christian Cage. So this leaves Jericho versus MJF and CM Punk versus Darby Allin. Jericho versus MJF, I thought about this long and hard. AEW, even though I have talked many times before that Cody will wrestle again, in case of emergency, break glass. Remember that whole thing I talked about? You don't take away that with Jericho either. To have Jericho on commentary is fine. And Jericho does need a break. He's doing some stuff with Fozzy still. And he is getting up there in age and cannot wrestle the schedule like he has before. You would have thought when he fell off that blood and guts cage that he would have been off TV for a lot longer, but that did not happen. Personally, what happened in blood and guts should have happened tomorrow. And he could have won the match and still, obviously they're not going to do a cage match like that, but my point is that they just should have simply done an injury angle tomorrow where he's off TV for a little while because of injury. He could still do commentary. He just has his arm in a sling. All right, Jericho, he broke his arm during the match. All right, that forces him, storyline, to be on the shelf, but he could still do commentary. That's what I would have done. AEW does not yet want to go back on their stipulations. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see when AEW decides to go back on a stipulation for the first time. I can't see Jericho ending his AEW tenure inside the ring tomorrow unless He doesn't have that much time left on his contract, and he will fill the remaining time on this contract as a commentator. I just don't see them going against that stipulation. Sure, Jericho could lose tomorrow. His in-ring career with AEW is over, and they could always do a storyline later on where they force him out of retirement and somebody agrees to it and blah, 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 blah. Sure, we could see all that. I don't know if AEW would do all that because AEW always has to emphasize, no, we stick to our stipulations. So I think Jericho wins tomorrow. I think maybe Sami shows up. Maybe somebody returns that we haven't seen in a while. Maybe we get a surprise. I think Jericho wins tomorrow. He could still take some time off for being in the ring, and somebody maybe interferes, and that shifts MJF away from Jericho almost immediately. So I'm going to go with Jericho to win. I just can't see it. If I thought, look, if this was WWE, I'd probably say the opposite thing. Because AEW is so hell-bent right now that they stick to their stipulations. I don't think they change that. So I say Jericho wins tomorrow. That leaves CM Punk versus Darby Allin. You'd be surprised how many people out there that think Darby Allin is winning this match. Well, CM Punk, he hasn't wrestled in a while. They could use that. What a rub to Darby Allin if you got to win on CM Punk right away, blah, 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 blah. There's no way you go off the air in Chicago with CM Punk losing. Even if 2.0 comes out, 3.0, Daniel Garcia, the fifth grader, and they all cause a riot, and Darby Allin helps CM Punk, and they're both at the top of the ring, and they're celebrating. CM Punk, I think, wins that match. I think Darby Allin will hit a move. It'll backfire. CM Punk will hit the GTS. Hopefully it's the go to sleep, not go to shoulder, if you know what I mean. And I think CM Punk will get the win. I think after the win, I think there'll be a handshake, a sign of respect, something. But I expect CM Punk to win. And that is, and Darby Allin will lose nothing tomorrow by losing. Darby Allin will win tomorrow, even in a loss. Because if he could go toe-to-toe with CM Punk, and look, we haven't seen CM Punk wrestle in a very, very long time. CM Punk has been working out in the ring with a lot of wrestlers in AEW. And they know that he could still do it. So it's not like everybody behind the scenes is like wondering, can he still do it? No, they know he could still do it. He's been working out in the ring with them. CM Punk wanted to make sure that he could do it still. This guy has not been sitting on his ass for the last, year or two. This guy's been preparing. He had a talk with Tony Khan a long time ago about coming into this company. So CM Punk, he's getting up there in age. He's not going to be the CM Punk from 2005, but as long as he can hold his own, he'll be fine. I think it's going to be a fun pay-per-view tomorrow. I tell you, when I look at the matches, this is a weird thing about it. I don't know if anybody else will agree with me on this, and then I'm going to jet out of here. Kenny Omega versus Christian Cage, I don't know if it's going to tear the house down. I really don't. I expect a lot of fuckery involved. Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers is probably the match I'm looking forward to more than anything. Miro versus Eddie Kingston will be a brawl. And it'll be a lot of fun. Jericho versus MJF, I don't know how strong that's going to be on paper, watching it. Moxley versus Kojima will be okay. Paul White versus Houdat, I'll be taking a pee. The Battle Royal, I think it's going to be more about surprises. It'll probably come down to Sheeta, Cargill, Thunder Rosa, Jamie Hayter, and maybe one other person. That's what's really is going to come down to. Maybe Ruby or someone else. And that's it. And Darby Allin. So there's really only 2-3 matches that I'm really looking forward to. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Andrade is not wrestling tomorrow. I think you only said that so I could go, Idolo. He'll be on Rampage next Friday. So anyway, everyone, any quick questions you have in the chat room? that you'd like for me to answer? Just quick stuff that I could go through like quickly, like I could answer in a matter of like a few seconds. I'll be more than happy to answer it. There's like 5-7 second delay. So for my friends on audio only, by the way, you still getting any audio issues? That's a little weird because my internet is strong. I don't know. Thoughts on SmackDown next week? Well, Brock is going to be back. Extreme Rules is in, 3 weeks? So I don't know if we're going to get Brock versus Roman Reigns for Extreme Rules. It almost feels like they got to go that route. But, next week is the contract signing with Becky and Bianca. Obviously, there's going to be a stipulation added to it because of Extreme Rules. Something will probably happen during the contract signing, and that'll lead to the stipulation. I would love to see Sasha Banks back on TV next week, but I don't know if that's going to happen. And Shem, he says that him and Jericho, MJF and Jericho is the bathroom break. I don't think so. Shem, I can't scroll up. It did like 50 comments pop up in a matter of seconds, so you probably would just have to retype it. Yes, Demon Balor is returning. He is returning. I know a lot of people think Extreme Rules. I'm thinking Saudi Arabia. Nobody yesterday brought up Saudi Arabia, but I think Demon Balor versus Roman Reigns might be the Saudi Arabia match. Brock Lesnar has performed in Saudi Arabia too. I don't know if we're going to get Brock versus Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine the amount of money the Prince would have to pay? I know he paid you $5 million per. $5 more million, Brock versus Roman. That would be awfully, awfully fast to do. So I would not be surprised if Demon Balor is in Saudi Arabia. Andrade will be taking on Pac next week. I think it's Crown Jewel. Isn't it Crown Jewel? I think in October it's Crown Jewel. But I think Saudi Arabia. And I'll tell you something. I think fans, seriously, I know this might sound a little selfish. I think fans, outside of Saudi Arabia, who have been wanting the demon character to return, I think it's a little fucked up, to be honest with you, if it happens in Saudi Arabia. But it's not against the Saudi fans. I have a lot of fans of this show that live in Abu Dhabi, Saudi Arabia, all that area of the world. My point is that Finn Balor has repeatedly said in interviews why the demon character has not returned. And Saudi Arabia, the perception is that the Crown Prince is giving so much money. It's like the money is more important than the fans. So it has nothing to do with Saudi Arabia. I want to make that clear. It just feels like if you grease Vince's palm enough, you get the demon character back. But for us fans, without a Crown Prince to grease the palm that much, we don't get it. Crown Jewel, yes. Who wins next week, Edge or Seth Rollins? I think there's going to be clusterfuck. I think it's going to be a clusterfuck. I think there's going to be a DQ finish. I don't think there's going to be any clear-cut winner. And I think this may be set up for Saudi Arabia too. Listen, Saudi Arabia is happening soon, but we have Extreme Rules first. Maybe Edge versus Roman Reigns happens at Extreme Rules. That could happen. Brock, I don't know where that leaves Brock for Extreme Rules, but Brock may be brought back to tease it, but may end up in Saudi Arabia. So I expect, I expect Edge. I don't even know if Edge versus Roman should happen at Extreme Rules. The more I think about it, maybe something should happen next week and Edge versus Seth Rollins happens at Extreme Rules, and maybe it's tables, ladders, and chairs. It's what I'd like to see. I don't think anybody would complain about that. How is Andrade versus Pac not on a pay-per-view? Travel issues. Shem was asking about Tony Khan's booking abilities. Should he step down? No. It's a new company. He's got to learn. He's the one running the ship. And he has to learn and trial and error. You make mistakes. The thing is, and only time will tell, will Tony Khan listen to the people who are telling him that he's making mistakes. Will he acknowledge it? Will he just bury himself around the yes men who are already in the company? Because I'm telling you, that perception outside of AEW is that, everybody's friends get some type of opportunity there, that, it's more of let's take care of our family and friends than, the actual business side of it. And that's fine. But if you create that environment that unless you're a close friend or a family member of the people who really run this behind the scenes, and you don't get much of an opportunity, the only way you keep people happy is if you put enough money in their pocket. And I think Tony Khan, he's got to learn. And he's going to need to fall a couple of times. And a lot of people online refuse to let him fall. Or if he falls, they try to make it seem like he fell on pillows. He didn't scratch his knee. Even though you see a cut on his knee, he didn't scratch his knee. I'm telling you, it was very, very apparent yesterday. You watch what MJF said, you watch what Carl Anderson said and others, and everybody acts like they didn't hear nothing or see nothing. That speaks volumes. Dude, AEW has been around for a couple of years. Do you realize the amount of responsibilities, and they're turning into a global company quickly, and what they have to do? It is still very, very new. It's going to take 5 years, I think, is when you could fairly start judging a lot of things about AEW. 5 years, I think they are entitled to. I think 5 years really tells it. TNA back in 2002, it's when it was first came in, it took till around like 2006 or 7, you really started to get a feel of what TNA was and wasn't. Five years. I give AEW 5 years. Then I think it's fair to judge Tony Khan and others. Yeah, there was a clip of Tony Khan getting angry. Look, I have no issues with Tony Khan getting mad. He gives a shit. But I'll say this, and I'll keep saying it. When I did that goofy rap, the Max Caster rap, do I have it handy? I don't know if you all saw this. Do I have it handy? Let me see if I have it handy. If I have it handy, I want you to pay very close attention to what I said. Yes, I do. All right. If you all want to laugh for a second, yes, I am horrendous, piss poor rapping. It was supposed to be funny, but I want you to listen to the last couple of sentences I say. I think it's very important. Yo, 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 oh! Listen, goose are bad sources. You should have waited. You premature ejaculated. Max is just a character. You're grief-stricken. You want the cornet fired over a bucket of chicken. Yo! Kidding me? You think it's cause of woke? Then take a toke. AEW's hustling you. They're in on the joke. Soon you'll see the truth about the biz. Be prepared to wipe off that all elite jizz. Oh. Needed a good laugh tonight. I'm horrible. Oh. No, it's serious. These aren't altar boys in the back. They aren't any different than any other wrestling promotion out there. They say they understand the hardcore rabid fan base they have. And they say things and people take it literally. Almost to the point of creepiness. When you hear Tony Khan talking about certain people's shows and sites, and you hear Tony Khan joking around, yeah, they're fans of our stuff. In fact, I think they're a little bit too much of a fan. It gets to a point. I even think Tony Khan, AEW, these people are a little too creepy with how addicted they are to us. So they even get it. But the people working behind the scenes of AEW, they're no different. than any other wrestling promotion out there. Right now, the aura is that if it was up to them, everybody would have health care. Oh, no, everybody is on the same pay scale, and everybody this, everybody that. It's not. It's a business. It's a business. They treat it more like family environment because it is, it is a more tight-knit family. Everybody working behind the scenes, it's different. It's not as corporate. But sooner or later, fans are going to get woke and realize AEW is no different than any other company out there. No different. No different. And when you realize that it was an alternative to WWE, no question, definite alternative to WWE. But as far as the operations, when people realize that they're no different than anyone else, that's when people will start paying attention to some of the things. Tessa Blanchard is still waiting for the perfect offer. She's keeping herself in shape. She's doing some work. She's waiting for the perfect offer. I'd like to see her in AEW. I just can't see how they would make her the focal point of that company. You think they're going to suddenly push Tessa Blanchard and make Britt Baker a step down? What about Thunder Rosa? What about some other women on the roster? What about Ruby Soho? AEW seems like they can only push 2 or 3 women at once. And everyone else is far, far down on the food chain. Look at Nyla Rose's recent loss. I mean, man, it was surprising to a lot of people. Seems like you'd only keep 1 or 2 people really elevated. Everyone else, Jade Cargill is 95-0. Yeah. When you're wrestling Lisa Schmuck on Dark, Jade Cargill is still a work in progress. She needs another year or 2. What they're doing with her in a slow build is great. But a lot of people now want Jade Cargill to be pushed to a title. And I'm like, I don't even think Jade Cargill herself would even want that. So you could keep slow pushing her, but you have to have other people, getting pushed also at the same time. You want Cargill to squash people on Dark? Absolutely. But in the same process, you have to keep the attention on others too. I could see Tessa in any promotion. Any promotion. I could even see it in NXT. She is that talented. The stuff that happened with La Rosa Negra was unfortunate. I don't think we'll ever know the truth. All I know is that, we all make mistakes. Every single one of us out there make mistakes. We don't know if Tessa said it or not. But all I know is that a lot of people who do know her personally went to bat for her. And there's been no evidence after that anything has been said or happened negatively with her. And even if she did say it, you could just hope that she learned and grew up by it, and, matured. Don't hold it against her for the rest of her career if she even did say it. You are entitled to, a second chance, provided, what you did is not, unforgivable. I'm holding out hope that the Mets make the playoffs. I think the Yankees will definitely be in. So we're going to start wrapping this up, everyone. We're going to start wrapping it up because I'm going to be right back here tomorrow with your AEW All Out review. Then Monday, I'll be here with Mish. Then Tuesday, I'll be on Patreon. Then Wednesday, I will be here. And Thursday, no Friday next week. Wow, I can't believe next Saturday is the 20-year anniversary of 9/11. 20 years. Next Saturday, I will spend a couple of minutes here talking about that day in the life of yours truly. Not just going to my office, not just hanging on the Cross Bay Bridge, looking into the city, not even the next day going on the boat, which I know a lot of you know that story, but the wrestling hotlines that day. Somebody interviewed Todd Gordon of ECW on that day. And in fairness, I don't think Ty Gordon was even aware of the towers coming down. But there's some weird things that happened that day, even in a world of wrestling hotlines. I don't have my hotline report from that day because the last thing I had thought about was recording the audio I was doing on my hotline. But definitely have a couple of memories to share with all of you. So Sonny is back on OnlyFans. And because OnlyFans took a step back and they're going to leave the adult entertainment, I guess that's the right way to put it. You know, look, I've always been a fan of Sonny. She has definitely made some mistakes. And I think probably one of the biggest was trying to troll the trolls online. That is very, very difficult to do. But I do know that alcoholism is a disease, whether somebody wants to admit it or not. It is an addiction. Add that to a bad relationship, and that is just a recipe for disaster. And I am friendly with people who are like this with Tammy. I told you, you know, it was not fun to watch her arraignment. You know, we didn't put the video online. I put a screenshot so people would see I wasn't lying. But, you know, somebody privately who was very close said, do you want to watch it? I said, sure. And we were watching it in real time when she got arraigned again last year or the year before. And it was sad. It was sad. Let me tell you something. I know Sonny is the brunt of a lot of jokes online, but, you know, she battled a lot of demons as well. And there's a lot of people that do care about her. And whether you think it's funny that a pussy farts, you know, and look, some of the video is funny. I mean, you know, I'm not going to lie. But we also have to understand that, you know, addiction is addiction. You know, when you don't have to be hardcore addicted to something to be addicted. You know, everybody thinks, no, I'm not on OnlyFans. I don't subscribe to anybody's OnlyFans, Twix. First of all, I'm engaged. It'd be totally disrespectful. If my fiance was subscribed to any guy's OnlyFans, I'd break her fingers. Not literally, but, you know, I'd break the keyboard. I don't want to smash a keyboard right now to show proof, but the thing is, you know, Sonny definitely, look, I'm going to say it honestly. She definitely deserves a lot of the criticism she gets. No joke. And she definitely is the brunt of some jokes. But at the end of the day, you know, when you're addicted to something, it doesn't have to be hardcore crack, cocaine, heroin. We just learned a little bit with Daffney with the food addiction. And that was one of many things. I showed on Thursday, yours truly, 100 pounds heavier. I had a food addiction 10 years ago, right around the time that she started having the problems. You know, I was able to get past it, but it was not easy. You know, I mean, I've had some pretty serious combos on Patreon, not necessarily on here, but food addiction is something serious. But food doesn't make you, you know, doesn't make your eyes blurry. Like if you're driving down the street and, you know, you're in the middle of the road, if you have a couple of beers, you know, you might see 3 lanes when there's only one. You're driving down the street, chicken. Like you don't suddenly like see like 5 lanes of traffic. You just smell chicken. You just turn to the side of the road and gavon. So alcohol, it impairs you. It makes you feel better. You know, I mean, when you go to a bar, I know it's not the right thing to say in 2021, but let's be honest. I don't hide anything here. How many of you out there have ever gone to a bar or a club thinking that you were going to have a couple of drinks, pick up someone and get laid? And you're trying to tell me, not saying to drug anybody or do anything illegal, but you're trying to tell me that if you're hanging out with someone and you have a drink or two, you feel like you got like a relaxed, a little bit more relaxed, and you know you might have a better shot of picking up. Come on, that's not illegal. I mean, some people are a little bit looser when they have a drink or two in them. You know, they feel more comfortable. They feel relaxed. It numbs the pain, not just physically but emotionally. So, you know, she although deserves a criticism and jokes, she's also battling a lot of demons. And I'm sorry. I supported her many years ago. You know, I could show you cards that I got from her also. You know, not recently, but, you know, she's very, very nice. I know a lot of people don't see that side. She doesn't want to show that side to a lot of people. But my point is that we don't want to see anybody turn into a tragedy. I don't want to see it with her. I hope to God her last stint in prison was her rock bottom. I hope, you know. Anyway, I'm out of here. Everyone, much love. Post your comments. I don't know if you noticed, but I responded to about 500, I'm not kidding, about 500 comments between yesterday and today. Therapeutic for yours truly as well. I love being interactive with all of you out there. You know, sometimes it may take an extra day or two for me to get back to a comment, but almost all the time I'm always responding. So post stuff tonight. If you enjoyed the show, smash that like button. Again, I thank you all for spending your Saturday night with me. I know we went a little bit longer because, you know, definitely some serious combo is, I think, needed, especially when there's a lot of shows out there that won't go that deep. And look, I don't blame anybody that really don't. It might be a very uncomfortable topic for some people. For some out there, they may have some personal experience with family, friends, or even themselves, and that's just not something they feel comfortable talking about. So do not, just because another show that you like does not get this deep as far as depression or addiction, doesn't mean that they're doing anything wrong. Fortunately, I'm able to talk a little bit about here, and you're willing to listen. So if we could help each other in any way, shape, or form, awesome, man. That's why, like I say, I'd rather have a wonderful group of people like you who socialize, whether I'm live or afterwards on a replay, than to have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 viewers, and I don't barely ever get to socialize with any of you out there. I like talking to you, not at you. And that is a big difference. You could tell when you're on someone's live show if they're actually talking to you. You know, if you have a difference of opinion with someone and they just curse you out and call you an idiot, is that someone that's willing to talk to you? Or do they just want to throw their point of view out there and you accept it and you like it, or you shut up? Not my style. All right, everybody. Much love. I'll see you tomorrow night, 5 minutes after AEW. And I'm looking, and yeah, I answered everybody's super chats. Good night, everybody.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a podcaster. For me to live any other way was nuts. To me, those goody-good people who worked shitty jobs for bum paychecks and took the subway to work every day and worried about their bills were dead. I mean, they were suckers. They had no balls. If I wanted something, I just took it. I ran everything. I paid the bills. I paid the host. I even paid the masked maniac. Everybody had their hands out. Everything was for the taking. We always called each other good fellas. You would always hear from somebody. You're gonna like Don Tony. He's alright. He's a good fella. He's one of us. But if you're part of my crew, nobody ever tells you they're gonna get rid of you. It doesn't happen that way. There weren't any arguments or curses like in the movies. See, your haters come with smiles. They come as your friends, the people who've claimed they care the most for your life. And now that's all over. And that's the best part. Today everything is different. There's lots of action. I don't have to wait around for everything like everyone else. Oh, I didn't get the vaccine? Fuck you, vaccine me. Oh, your delivery guy has COVID? Fuck you, feed me. Right after I moved here, I ordered egg noodles and ketchup, and I got spaghetti with meat sauce. I'm no longer an average nobody, while they get to live the rest of their lives like a bunch of schnooks.